Deputy Education Minister Surasak Pancharin Warakul, Honorable Ministers, Excellencies, distinguished participants, and colleagues, partners, and friends. Sawadee ka, and good morning. A very warm welcome to the 7th International Conference on Language and Education. We gather here today under the theme of multilingual education for transformative education systems and resilient futures. It is an honor for me to address you as we embark on the first major event on first language-based multilingual education since the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic. The pandemic unveiled the vulnerabilities of our education systems, hitting hardest the indigenous and ethno-linguistic minority communities, especially in low and middle income countries. Instead of bridging gaps, education seemed to have exacerbated disparities. Despite commendable efforts by countries worldwide, we still fall short of the promise we made in 2015 to provide quality education to every child, youth, and adult, as outlined in the Sustainable Development Goal for an Education 2030 agenda. COVID-19's impact illuminated the disparities in access to education, particularly for marginalized groups. It also rekindled our commitment to inclusive language-based learning. A year ago in New York, countries pledged to transform education systems, the Transforming Education Summit, to be more inclusive, adaptive, flexible, and resilient. And more recently, this past September in New York again, on the margins of the UN General Assembly that was held in New York, the essential role of all stakeholders in advancing sustainable progress through capacity building, system strengthening, and adequate financing was recognized. The provision of first language-based multilingual education is central to achieving this commitment. Globally speaking, 40% of children lack access to education in their native language, hindering their reading proficiency. According to the World Bank, an estimated 70% of 10-year-olds in low and middle income countries cannot comprehend simple texts, a figure that has risen by 13% since pre-COVID-19 times. Yet, we lack vital regional and national data on learners' first languages, impeding targeted policy solutions. Without language-inclusive education policies and data disaggregated by learners' first languages, our efforts to reach SDG 4 and combat learning crisis cannot be successful. To equip children with essential reading, writing, and communication skills, we must recognize the pivotal role of first language in education. First language-based multilingual education is a sustainable, cost-effective solution, benefiting children, parents, marginalized communities, and fostering national and international language proficiency. This conference marks the 20th anniversary of the International Conference on Language and Education, fostering evidence-based policy and practice in first language-based multilingual education. We gather here this week with over 400 participants from 50 countries to discuss recent developments in multilingual education and policies and practices. As we embark in the next 3 days together, I urge you to consider not only the latest field updates, but also how first language-based multilingual education aligns with global priorities. The Transforming Education Summit introduced broad global calls to action, impacting language-based education in crisis situations, digitalization, and climate change. In crisis situations, language-inclusive materials are often lacking, affecting migrants and refugees with unique language challenges. Secondly, digitalization, a 21st century necessity, poses both opportunities and risks. Limited access to the internet and quality devices affects disproportionately indigenous and ethno-linguistic minority learners. Lastly, climate change concerns demand unique perspectives, and indigenous ethno-linguistic minority languages offer insights into biodiversity and environmental understanding. This conference embodies collaboration, bringing together diverse stakeholders from government officials to youth representatives. Let's learn not just from the sessions, but also the discussions during the breaks, the exchanges, the interactions, seeking ways to use first language-based multilingual education to transform our systems. By way of concluding, I would like to express my sincere appreciation to our partners, the UNICEF East Asia and Pacific Regional Office, the British Council, CARE International in Cambodia, the Equitable Education Fund Thailand, the Foundation for Applied Linguistics, Mahidol University, the Pestalozzi Children's Foundation, Save the Children, Southeast Asian Ministers of Education Organization Secretariat, and SIL International, who all worked tirelessly over the past year to make this conference possible. I also extend my gratitude to His Excellency Vice Minister Surasak Panchadinwarakul and the Ministry of Education of Thailand for the dedication and support in making this conference possible. I look forward to fruitful discussions, innovative ideas, and collaborative efforts to shape the future of first language-based multilingual education. Together, we can make a profound impact on learners worldwide, ensuring that no one is left behind. Let us embark on this journey of exploration, learning, and collaboration. I thank you.